Welcome back to California's fentanyl fight, a CBS News California investigation. I'm Julie Watts. Over the past year, CalMatters' new digital democracy database gave us the tools to analyze thousands of votes and dozens of hours of political hearings in ways that simply weren't possible before. But it was Alexandra's Law that gave us a case study of California's supermajority politics at its best or worst, depending on who you ask. And if you ask Alexandra's parents, they'll tell you powerful California lawmakers use their daughter as a political pawn.
I miss those days. Just the girls always being here and laughing and just having fun. And
it's been 5 years since Alexandra Capelouto found her 20-year-old daughter slumped over sideways, still sitting on the floor in front of her mirror where she'd been taking off her makeup the night before.
This friend just got married.
Alexandra was home from college for a visit.
They're all growing up without her.
She was having trouble sleeping and made the fatal decision to buy a prescription pain pill on Snapchat. These home surveillance videos are the last images of Alexandra alive, holding what she thought was Percocet. The dealer later admitted he knew it was laced with fentanyl.
Soon after Alex died, we came up with this idea of an admonishment.
A documented warning for people convicted of fentanyl crimes that if they deal fentanyl again and if someone dies, they could be charged with murder. It was intended to mirror the warning drunk drivers get when they're convicted of a DUI, credited with dramatically decreasing drunk driving deaths.
In order to hold a drug dealer accountable for a death, you have to prove that they were aware of those dangers.
They named their warning Alexandra's Law.
Good morning.
Matt and Alexandra Capelouto wanted to save other parents from the same fate. Instead, they got a masterclass in California's supermajority politics.
As you can imagine, I'm frustrated to be here again.
Alexandra's Law was introduced 5 times in 4 years and faced 7 different hearings, but never got past the public safety committees.
I think people don't understand how this process works, and it first has to get out of committee, which just consists of a handful of people who, in my opinion, ultimately abuse their power.
I will continue to not be supporting this bill today.
Opponents like Bay Area Senators Scott Wiener and Nancy Skinner worry that people who don't realize they're selling fentanyl could also get the admonishment, like young people at parties with friends.
As parents, I would welcome that warning.
But after that warning, if those kids were to sell or even distribute fentanyl again as an adult and someone died, they could face murder charges.
Makes sense to me. They were clearly aware of the dangers.
What do you say to those folks who say, well, Alexandra did something illegal too?
They're right, and she paid a price. And you have to put this into context, though. She took half of this pill before going to bed, and it killed her within minutes. A poor choice, the evil choice, was by that man who chose to risk her life to make a few dollars. And that person bears accountability.
Thank you.
More than 100 people testified at this final Senate public safety hearing, most in support of Alexandra's Law.
I'm standing here on behalf of all the brown and black moms.
Jeff
And Zach.
and Cameron, Merrick.
My heart breaks knowing that had this passed 4 years ago when we were presenting it, their kids might be alive today.
In a show of bipartisan support, 22 senators, both Republican and Democrat, signed on as co-authors, along with dozens more from the Assembly.
If we could have got it to the floor for a vote, it would have passed.
But first, it had to get through these 4 senators on a committee that killed Alexandra's Law before.
You may disagree with this, but at least let your peers, and in this case the majority of them, let them weigh in on it.
Instead, this time,
Senator Wahab,
the Democrats on the committee
Bradford,
simply didn't vote.
Skinner,
They sat silent,
Wiener.
killing Alexandra's Law a final time without a single vote against the bill on the record. Senator Aisha Wahab, the committee chair, wasn't even there.
We don't elect these people to go to Sacramento to not vote.
For many of the grieving parents,
It's
that hearing was eye-opening.
beyond frustrating.
I'm insulted.
No one should have that kind of power.
CalMatters' digital democracy database reveals Alexandra's Law was one of at least 3 fentanyl-related bills that died in 2023 because Democrats simply refused to vote. It's known as an NVR, or no vote recorded, and has the same effect as voting against a bill, but without taking a recorded stance.
It's not appropriate to not go on record.
Before Digital Democracy's new video search tool, it was nearly impossible to know if someone was absent or simply chose not to vote on the record.
We're doing our job by voting. That is what they signed up for, to represent us.
All those vote who desire to vote.
Our analysis of 1 million votes cast reveals Democrats in the supermajority voted no on the record less than 1% of the time. In last session alone, lawmakers killed at least 40 bills by not voting on the record.
Is that the way that government's supposed to work?
Do I think that's the way? No, of course not.
Southern California Senator Tom Umberg was the primary author of Alexandra's Law.
So I can understand why the parents felt so aggrieved and some so angry.
He explains there are many reasons lawmakers may decline to vote. Sometimes it's a polite way to vote no, but in other cases, it's a way to kill a bill without taking a recorded stance.
That is the system that we have. Should we change it? Probably so.
Both Assembly and Senate leadership declined to comment for this story.
All right, brother, let's do it.
Tired of fighting a losing battle with lawmakers, Matt decided to bring Alexandra's Law directly to the voters.
We'd like to file this ballot initiative.
Okay.
Zach Didier's dad, Chris, was among the many bereaved parents by Matt's side when he filed the paperwork to officially put Alexandra's Law on the ballot. But unlike lawmakers who can vote to put something on the ballot, members of the public have to gather more than 500,000 signatures to qualify.
It's expensive.
The parents quickly realized they couldn't do it alone.
So that didn't work out, but we were fortunate.
A coalition of district attorneys, retailers, and crime victims also offered to add Alexandra's Law to their ballot measure. What is now Prop 36 was intended to increase penalties for retail theft and hard drug offenses.
Yeah, that was...
Like victory.
Yeah, finally something going our way.
Finally.
But the victory was short-lived.
I don't think there's a need to have it on the ballot.
California Governor Gavin Newsom fought hard to keep Prop 36 off the ballot, arguing lawmakers should decide these policies, not voters.
I think it's a better approach to governing.
In a testy email exchange first obtained by CBS News California, the governor's chief of staff, Dana Williamson, tried to convince a Prop 36 co-chair to postpone the ballot measure until 2026. That's when Newsom terms out of office. Dana Williamson, named Capital Weekly's #1 most powerful person in Sacramento, criticized the coalition for not taking a win, adding their consultants hadn't won anything in a decade. Good luck.
It's disgusting.
But to the bereaved parents, it wasn't a game. Then Alexandra's parents watched
They defiled my daughter.
as the governor and Democratic leaders
I was so angry I cried.
used their daughter as a political pawn.
There's a fake Alexandra's Law.
When the coalition refused to postpone Prop 36, Newsom and Democratic leaders introduced a competing ballot measure with their own version of Alexandra's Law. According to critics, it was intended to confuse voters and kill the real Alexandra's Law, along with the rest of Prop 36.
No one here, not the governor, not the author, no one from the majority party had the courage to call Matt and ask him if you could use her name in this language.
There were audible gasps among lawmakers on the assembly floor when Placer County Assemblyman Joe Patterson revealed leadership had never asked permission to use Alexandra's name.
We've been trying to get an interview with you.
This is Senator Wahab, the chair of the Public Safety Committee that killed the real Alexandra's Law without a vote. Then she included Alexandra's name without permission in the bill she authored for the governor's ballot measure.
I know. So just quick question. Did you know that the governor added Alexandra's Law to your bill, Senator, without asking her parents' permission?
She declined multiple interview requests and refused to speak with us at the Capitol. And when the sergeant passed her our note on the Senate floor, which is how reporters can request interviews during floor session, she handed it back and then added her name to a short list of senators who refused to take cards on the floor.
You know, what I've been able to see firsthand is just how there's an abuse of power.
Alexandra's parents believe the decision to play politics with their daughter's memory
My name is Dana Williamson. I'm Governor Newsom's chief of staff.
came from the very top.
I just called to apologize that we didn't reach out to you about the Alexandra's Law.
She mispronounced Alexandra's name. But shortly after Newsom's chief of staff left that voicemail, the governor pulled his competing ballot measure.
Finally, we won a battle.
The governor's office again declined interview requests, but in a statement said Mr. Capelouto's advocacy in memory of his daughter is both admirable and deeply courageous, noting that their office did apologize to him.
Come to order. Court is now in session.
We recently accompanied the Capeloutos to hear the verdict in California's third ever fentanyl murder jury trial.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant not guilty of violation of section,
which they believe demonstrates the need for Alexandra's Law. Prop 36 and Alexandra's Law went on to pass with overwhelming support, the most decisive win on California's ballot.
Less than 2% of all drug deaths result in the conviction of a drug dealer.
He notes Alexandra's Law will now help prosecutors secure convictions for repeat offenders, but he also believes the warnings they get under Alexandra's Law will serve as a deterrent, preventing the need for fentanyl murder trials in the first place.
Her daughter told her mom that she was going to do something to save the lives.
I believe she has now.